They've either walked away and they're buying something that's cheaper because they can now get a fully detached home for the same price that they're paying for a townhouse, and they're just kind of, oh, well, we're at the 20th grand, no big deal, I'm going to save 100 grand.
Yeah, the GTA's red-hot housing market has headed south. Prices are plummeting, and that may be opening the door to unscrupulous moves by buyers, as one Oshawa couple says it is finding out.
Melissa, how does it feel to be standing in here?
It's quite emotional, actually. I didn't expect to be still standing here.
No, Melissa Slater instead thought she, her husband Ryan, and their 2 children would be enjoying their brand new home they bought 2 years ago and was finally built. Instead, they are struggling to make their payments and are facing the nightmare of carrying 2 mortgages.
We sold the house in March when the market was hot. We sold it for $120,000 over asking. When we went to close the deal on July 21st, the buyers asked for an extension.
Slater says they agreed to that extension with terms, but then just this week, the buyer came back with this shocker.
And now they've asked for us to reduce the purchase price down $35,000 because they feel that it's not worth the $620,000 that it was back in March.
This has left Melissa and Ryan between a rock and a hard place. They've taken possession of their new home. They're paying expensive bridge financing. Plus, if they can't close, they likely won't get anywhere near the same price because of the slumping market.
I thought, when the market was hot and we got a good offer, we were kind of laughing, and now it's the opposite.
If you've signed it and you're ready to close, can you suddenly come back and say no?
You can back out of any deal as long as you're willing to pay for it. And what people need to understand is a court's not going to save you because you made a bad deal.
Toronto lawyer Jordan Donage says they are seeing more and more situations like this. Buyers backing out, some for legitimate reasons, a lack of financing, others looking to take advantage of the situation. So where does that leave the sellers like Melissa and Ryan? What can they do?
So if they have a contract in place, the best thing to do is try and resolve it with the buyer while you still can. At least you have a buyer. If you can resolve it, then you may be able to recover for any losses.
If that doesn't work, Donage says a lawsuit may be the next option, but it's not an easy one.
You can go after the other buyer. The issue is it may take time to calculate the amount of damages, the cost of perhaps carrying a new property, transaction costs, real estate commissions, and loss of purchase price. That can take time, and nobody wants to go to court for 2 years.
Vancouver, which introduced similar rules designed to cool the market last year, is starting to see cases like this go to court. In one of them, the judge ruled in favor of the seller to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it is likely to be appealed. Slater says she is considering suing, but simply may be forced to put it up for resale and try and get the deposit now being held in trust. She says all they really want to do is settle in at their new place.
We're trying to enjoy it as much as we can and try to do as much as we can up there to make it a home, but it still doesn't feel like home because we have this lit over our heads.
And Melissa says they are expecting to hear back from the buyer likely tomorrow, and that is when they are expected to make their decision on whether to sue or simply relist after this hard lesson.